agreed. In other words, that the first speaker, whoever he is, speak for 50 minutes, and the second speaker for 60 minutes, followed by the first speaker, who will have the final 10 minutes, same as between me and Dr. Clark. To appear just and fair, the chairman will toss a coin in front of the audience. You were absolutely tickled by this suggestion of mine on the phone. Have you forgotten this also? On the 18th of September 1985, Dr. Sorrosh finally agreed to the original subject to be debated, but he leaves the format in the air. As late as November the 15th, an unjust format is still being stubbornly mooted by Dr. Sorrosh, and again I quote, 50 minutes first speaker, 50 minutes second speaker, 8 minutes rebuttals first speaker, 8 minutes rebuttals second speaker. Up to 15 minutes before the start of the great debate, the format was still unsettled. Mr. Deedat unwillingly agreed to the unjust format of Dr. Sorrosh, leaving everything to Allah and the tossing of the coin. Dr. Sorrosh lost the toss, and the outcome of the debate we leave to you, the intelligent viewer, to decide.
We have a notice. Between 1 and 2,000 people were unable to get in here tonight, and therefore they were reluctantly turned away by the police on the instruction of the authorities here because there was no room. In a debate of this nature, it's important that we understand the character of the meeting that we've come to. And I believe this is a historic occasion where those who come from a Christian perspective can listen to those who come from an Islamic perspective and vice versa. And I speak as chairman of this meeting. I am a committed Christian. My name is Clive Calver, and I'm General Secretary of the Evangelical Alliance. For the purpose of this meeting, I will remain totally impartial and will seek to act in true British fashion as a neutral. We'll endeavour to do so for the next 2.5 hours. I do want to welcome you on behalf of both our participants who are thrilled that this hall is so full tonight. It's good that you've taken the time to come to this important occasion. You may be wondering when you yourselves would have an opportunity in participating in this debate. And after our two main speakers have delivered their initial address, there will be an opportunity for you to write down any question that you may wish to have answered on a piece of paper, and then the stewards will collect it and will bring it down here in order that it may be drawn impartially from a bin containing all the questions that we receive, and with whatever time we have left, such questions as can be answered will be answered. There are certain rules governing this debate. We would like to request that there be no cheering, that there be no overt partisan activities, no waving of banners or anything similar, and no chanting. That is because we believe this is an opportunity to learn and to hear, not just to shout for our respective positions. After the main speaker has spoken, you may greet his contribution from both sides with polite applause, which will not be extended, and we would ask you to observe that, and we would ask that those from both perspectives applaud both speakers. We are grateful to them for giving their time and their energies in coming to share in this important debate. There is one other thing that needs to be stated very firmly. Once you are in your seats, we request that you do not leave your seats unless it is absolutely essential. We would ask that you do not move up the aisles, and we would ask that in no way do you ever attempt to break through the extensive security cordon to come onto the platform. That would not be in order or fitting as part of this debate, and we would ask you just to observe those few limitations. What I would like to do at this point in time is to introduce our two speakers to you. So I've said already, we're thrilled that they're here for this vital debate. And I'm going to ask Mr. Ahmed Thompson if he would just briefly introduce Mr. Deedat to us all. Thank you.
Good evening. Bismillah. Mr. Ahmed Deedat is probably well known to many of you already. He's been in England several times before and was here at the Albert Hall in July and last summer in another similar debate to this. He's the director of the Islamic Propagation Center in Durban in South Africa. And he's a man who has studied both the Quran and the Bible for a considerable length of time. Obviously, as a Muslim, he accepts the Quran as the final revelation from God to man, to the last of the prophets, and much of his perspective is based on what is in the Quran. He is also interested in the Bible, though, which, although it does not contain the original gospel of Jesus in the original Aramaic, is nevertheless still an interesting document. And perhaps we should just draw your attention to one of the verses of Quran, which says, and this ayat is addressed primarily to the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings of Allah on him, but also to all Muslims. And it says, if anyone disputes with you after the knowledge which has come to you, this is the knowledge in the Quran, then say to them, bring your sons and your womenfolk and yourselves and ourselves together, and let us pray to Allah, let us pray to God. May the curse of God be on us if we are lying. So on behalf of Mr. Deedat and of all the Muslims, I would just like to say that as far as the knowledge which he refers to from the Quran, may the curse of Allah be on us if it is not true. Thank you.
We're pleased to also have on the platform the Reverend Fred Masabni from Jacksonville, Florida. He's a missionary at large, and he's come as Mr. Sorrosh's companion tonight. A word or two of introduction to Anis Sorrosh. Anis is a Palestinian. He became a refugee in 1948 in Jordan. He went to the USA and studied in Mississippi, where he received the degrees of Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Divinity. He is married with 4 children, 3 boys and a girl, and has worked as a Christian evangelist since 1966. He lives in Mobile, Alabama, and possesses a further degree in the Doctorate of Ministries. And Anis is warmly welcome here tonight as well, having made the trip across the Atlantic. Before we toss the coin, this is the moment where we introduce the threats. Should anybody get really carried away, they will be carried away. This will not be done by either a Christian or a Muslim. It will be done by both.